What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, man. So my microphone was muted. Like I said, this thing organic. Um, but yeah, man, I'm your host T, and I'm here with Florida State Bullies. Um, I'd like to welcome y'all to Nothing But Dogs Cast. Hey, man, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mike from Florida State Bullies, man. Founder, founder and owner. Some of the best XLs in the game right now.
Yeah,
You know, trying to make it happen.
for sure, for sure. Hey, man, like I said, my microphone was muted, so I got to shout out my sponsor, Gold Club K9 Group. You can visit goldclubk9group.com and use the discount code BDP for 12% off your order. Um, yeah, Mike. So, the show, the name says it all. Uh, we're talking about champions, and that's what you do. You've done a lot of it. You're still doing it, and it's a consistent thing with you. So, let's talk about where you started.
Oh man. Man, I started breeding dogs back in New York, back in the early 2000s. You know, to deal with the American pit bull terriers. The street level pits and stuff like that. Was
Mhm.
doing some light breeding. Never took it too serious and stuff like that. But I was always into the quality of the dogs.
Yeah,
So it's just something that I had an eye for. Had a stepfather that was into the pit bull game back in the days, and I used to get exposure to a lot of things, and I used to see different dogs, and it always stuck with me. Certain things I learned and stuff like that. So I just applied it to what I thought would be a good dog.
yeah, definitely. So when did you jump into the bully world?
I'll say about close to 10 years ago, I really started doing it serious. I got one dog. I got my foundation dog, my boy Zeus the bully. Great dog. He's old school Gotti line. You know, then I
Yeah,
got stepped up, got my next dog and stuff like that. Started putting money into it, and then you know, not getting out of it what you expect. You're gonna waste a lot more money on in the beginning of a program than you're actually gonna make money. So I try to tell people all the time, don't think you're gonna get into this, and if you're looking to make money right away, because it's not gonna happen.
yeah. So how long would you say it takes you to get out of the red?
Oh man, I'll say it can take anywhere up to 5 years to get out of the red. You know what I'm saying? I mean, especially if you have something that's appealing to the public. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of people want to load up on a bunch of dogs and stuff like that. Which is cool, but not all of them are going to turn out to be how you want it, or turn out to be something intricate to your program.
yeah. And what do you feel like is the qualities that you look for in your dogs?
Oh man, I'm harder on my dogs than the public is.
Yeah,
I critique my dogs. What a dog doesn't have, what it does have, what is lacking, or you know what I want to add to it and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. So what advice would you give somebody getting into the game that they're gonna what should they look for? Because I know everybody's vision is different, but as far as the the base of the American bully, what should they look for?
I mean, I would say deal with if you're gonna get into this game and you're not gonna try to just go buy a bunch of dogs from one kennel and think you're gonna slap them together and think you're gonna have the next hitter in the world. It doesn't work like that. Any of the top kennels will tell you it doesn't work like that. You're gonna learn from experience and stuff.
Yeah. So the show ring. I know we haven't talked about that on the show at all.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and that's your place. That's where you do your business.
yeah. That's
So
that's that's my thing.
yeah. So
You know,
what's important? Like what made you decide to go into the show ring and champion your dogs? And
well
what's
for
the
me,
importance of it?
okay. Well for me, it's different. I tried to, I didn't get into the game to try to begin just start breeding and stuff like that. I like going to the shows. I like the competition. I like dogs that are judged and stuff like that. I mean, everybody says they have a good dog, but put it in front of some judges and let it be judged and critiqued and stuff like that, and that kind of piqued my interest. So I used to just go to the shows years ago just to walk around and see what what's out there, what type of competition it was and stuff like that. And I wasn't seeing a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of the pocket breeders got great dogs.
Yeah.
You know, Sometimes you go to the shows, people don't show up with the XLs and stuff like that. So I said to myself, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start producing the XLs that are gonna be show quality that people can start bringing to the shows.
Yeah. And
You
what's
know.
what's the importance of showing your dog?
I mean, it's like, okay, it's like you have a child, and your child goes off to college.
Yeah.
They go and achieve something. They go and achieve accolades, and it's prestigious. Not every dog is a champion, but taking dogs to a show ring, you know, if I don't think a dog has it, I won't even waste time with trying to take a dog. If I don't think it has what it takes to become a champion. It's not easy. I mean, it takes a lot of training and stuff like that. But that's just my thing. I like the competition of it. I like going. It increases the value of your dog. It shows, your dog has been judged, and it's up to the breed standard. Which is what a lot of people deviate from in this game. They're breeding the dogs with bad feet, high rears, small heads, happy tails and stuff like that, cow hock, and
Yeah.
you're only hurting the breed by doing that. Those dogs are definitely not show quality.
Yeah. So how many shows do you have to how many shows do you have to win before you can become a champion?
Well, okay, say you go to one show, you
Mhm.
got a show Saturday. There's 4 rounds to every show.
Okay.
If you have an exceptional dog, and there's good competition. If you have an exceptional male or female, they can go in there and they can become a champion in one show. It's hard because they have to be judged up against 4 different judges.
Yeah.
So every judge is different. Some judges like apples, some judges like oranges. You know,
Yeah.
I've gone to shows where I've taken first place, and then I go to a different judge, and I'll go get second or third place. It
Yeah.
ain't all fun and games when you get in there. Everybody has their opinion and stuff like that. Sometimes some dogs deserve to win, some dogs deserve to get passed on. But
Yeah. So do you feel like the judges kind of you said they had some like oranges, some like apples. Do you feel like they kind of like um they misjudge sometimes?
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like I said, you could like a certain type of dog, and I could like a certain type of dog. Just like if you and I were picking a puppy from a litter, it's probably more than likely we're not gonna pick the same dog. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just a preference, what their preference is, what they're looking for. There's some XLs that are longer. There are some XLs that are short back. I mean, it just depends on what a judge is looking for. I took one of my XLs. He's almost a champion. Well, his name is Titan. A Florida State Bullies. I took Titan, and a judge that he got second place. And we get to talk to the judges after. I asked him, why didn't he win? And he said, because the judge said he preferred the shorter back of the XL.
Yeah.
He said it was just his preference, and
Okay.
maybe it kind of deviated to what the standard would be, because some dogs. I mean, Titan has great feet. He has great head. He has great body. He's a little long. He's the longer eggshell because
Yeah.
he's big. The dog is 130, 135 pounds, so they're gonna carry that weight pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. So
You know.
with that, how much harder does that make it to become a champion? So if you let's say you take first in from two judges. So do you just have to get first two more times, like in
Yeah,
another show?
you have to get first. You would have to. I mean, if you don't get what you need that first show, then you'll definitely have to go to another show to go pick up 2 more first place wins, and then you'll have to go. You'll have to get best male, and then you'll have to go and get best XL against maybe a female that's there. So that's it. You need competition at the shows, and sometimes you go to these shows and there's no XL show up. So then you travel out of state, spend a bunch of money to go to a show, and no dogs show up.
Yeah. And that there you go. That put you more in the red.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that people don't understand that. Sometimes it gets expensive. I got an awesome handler. Her name is Sarah Roach. She's based out of Kentucky, and she's awesome with the dogs and stuff like that. You got to find a good handler who you trust. And build a relationship with. Because sometimes you're sending your dogs away to go stay with somebody for a month at a time to get ready, prepared for a show. You got to be able to have peace of mind that your dog is safe and sound.
Definitely, definitely. So what is the so have you ever championed in one show? Any dog?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Champion Future. Kane's son just did that. We took him to that show. He was with the handler for about 2 weeks. And from working with him, she thought he was ready. So we made the decision to put him in the show, and he went in there and he did good. He cleaned house. He won every round. He won first place. He won best male, best XL male, and his first place. He got all his majors, and he champed out in that one show. It's not hard to do, but if you have a great dog, that's put together well, and he's something that the judges are looking for, you'll do well. He did good. I'm proud of him.
Yeah. And
This dog.
for everybody that's watching that doesn't know who Future is, this is Future, champion Future. Uh, so as you can see, he's a beast. He was on the flyer for the show, and I'll pull that one up so you can see that. And I think this your handler right here.
That's my handler, Sarah Roach, and that's Future's sister. That's the Holy Trinity. She'll be in the show coming up soon. She's almost a champion. She needs 2 more rounds, but we're working on the next level for her as well. Yeah, but that's my handler, Sarah Roach, Kentucky Finest Bullies. She's awesome. You can hit me up or hit her up. It's what the breed is about. If you're not sticking to the standard, then what are you doing?
Definitely. And so this is the from when he became a champion.
Yeah, that's a champion. That's not all the ribbons because we couldn't fit him on, but he's got more ribbons, that go with each round. You're gonna pick up 3 ribbons each round.
Yeah.
Once you get get all your majors, then you become a champion.
Okay.
So right now we're getting him ready. We're putting some weight back on him. Between him breeding and the shows and stuff, we're trying to put some weight back on him. Because we're getting ready to go for the grand champion run. Me and the handler sat down and conversed, and we think he's got what it takes. So we're gonna get on the road. We're gonna do that wherever we got to travel to. We travel all over the United States.
Yeah.
We don't.
So what's the difference between the champion round and the grand champion round?
Well, see, once you champion out against other dogs, okay, then to become a grand champion. Now, grand champion is different. You have to go against only champions that have won. You have to become a grand champion. You have to have 5 champion class wins against other champions.
Okay.
And that's tough. You got XLs that go in the ring against standards, against classics, against pockets. And not for nothing, it's harder for an XL, because the smaller dogs, yes, a lot of those smaller dogs are put together very well, and sometimes it's hard to beat them,
Yeah, definitely.
That's why there aren't many XL grand champions in the world. There are a few. My handler, Sarah Roach, she owns one of them, grand champion Timbo.
Yeah.
He's awesome. I saw him recently. He's doing great. But, it's tough, but, from the package that Future brings, we think that he can do it. We think that he'll get the looks that we need, to get him to that next level.
Okay. Yeah, and how early do you start training them for shows?
Oh man, it starts from a young age. As a puppy, you want to get them used to stacking, and you can get a stack box and stuff like that, or get them to stand in place for short amounts of time and stuff like that, to get their muscles used to standing in place, so that they're not nervous and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I start off, and then when I pass them off to Sarah, she does what she does with them, and she gets them to that next level.
Yeah. So how much time would you say a day goes into the show training?
Oh man, it's hours per day. You're working with the dogs. You're doing distraction training and stuff like that. You're doing stack training. You're doing you're doing gating. You're doing your walking, your stops. So when the judge snaps, the dog is at attention and stuff like that. There's numerous things that go into training throughout the day. And then also, you give the dogs breaks in between because you don't want to wear them out.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
For
That
sure.
that's what it's all about. The dogs, you want the dog to be engaged, you want him to be happy, you want the tail wagging and stuff like that. So once you got that stuff going on, the dog is happy and the dog will learn,
Yeah.
10 times easier and faster.
Yeah, and also like every dog's not gonna be. He might. You had dogs that had the show look, but they just couldn't take the
Oh,
training.
oh yeah, absolutely. There are some dogs that are definitely show quality, but their attitude and
Yeah,
their temperament, don't match up with what's required in the ring. There are beautiful dogs out there, but I've seen dogs in the show ring, beautiful dog, and the dog is getting aggressive.
yeah,
Growling at the judge. None of my dogs, but I'm just saying from what I've seen
yeah,
out there, you know, dogs, growling at the judges and stuff like that, and growling and trying to fight other dogs and stuff like that. You want to keep that stuff, away from the ring. And I've had great dogs, but I got a dog at home. One of my boys, Apollo. I got him as a pet. Turned out to be a great dog. But he had a little, attitude problems. So I really didn't take him around other dogs and stuff. But would he have done well in the ring? Absolutely.
yeah.
You know.
But it's just having to deal with the extra around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Sometimes you want but that comes from breeding and stuff like that. I got
yeah,
him. I got him from a breeder who I wasn't really too familiar with and stuff like that. Like I said, early in the game, you're gonna learn and you're gonna make mistakes.
yeah. And I think like so. Do you feel like the judges, when they see that aggressive dog before they get in the show ring, do you feel like that impacts the way they judge them once they're in the show ring, even if they perform well?
It's hard to say. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does have some type of impact. Because that judge is gonna have to worry about, well, is that dog gonna come in here and do that, or do I gotta get worried about getting bit by a dog? And stuff like that happens. You still gotta be wary of these dogs.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can have,
yeah.
as long as you got to.
Go
Mhm.
ahead.
No, yeah, I'm saying as long as you got a handler who's handling your dog and is aware of your dog's tendencies and stuff like that, you'll be fine in the ring.
Yeah. So does
You know.
she handle your dogs in the ring, or do you handle them?
No, she handles. I've handled my dogs in the ring before if I needed to. Unless she's handling another one of my dogs and she can't handle one.
Yeah.
But she handles them. 100%. When
Okay.
we go to the shows, we'll meet in whatever state we got to meet up in. I'll transport the dogs, or I'll have them sent to her ahead of time, and we'll meet up at whatever state it is. We got no problem pulling up to any state.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And I
there's
see. Yeah, I see a lot of dogs a lot of people to take their dogs to the dog shows, but they won't show them. And I think so. The dogs look nice, but their value really doesn't increase without the champion status.
yeah. And that's why I do it. You know,
Yeah.
let's get the dog to its fullest potential. Let's show what he can do. Everybody's got great dogs, but me personally, if I'm looking at a pedigree, I'm looking to see what champions are in that pedigree. Because for one, I want something that can replicate or duplicate possibly one of those champions in there somehow.
Yeah. So how
A
many
lot of people.
when you're looking at dogs, how many champions do you want to see in the pedigree?
It's not about how many I want to see.
Or
It's
it's just
about
one?
it's about the quality of the champion and what they've produced.
Okay.
That right there. If you got multiple champions running through a pedigree, then more than likely you're gonna come close to duplicating that or close to the breed standard, as opposed to just breeding two dogs. You know, don't really know their pedigree.
And
You
hoping
know,
for the
and
best.
yeah, exactly. And I, if you don't do your research, then you're not really trying to better the breed.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been doing this. I've been doing this for years, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the process though.
Yep.
You gotta learn, you gotta put work in because it changes every day. Like I know they just posted new guidelines about the standard for the
Yeah.
bully. Um, so you got to know that, and you got to adjust. You got to adjust to the guidelines, and you can't get stuck in the past. So
No,
how much would you say a quality bully is going to cost you?
oh man, that's hard to say, man. I mean, from starting out, I've spent $500 on a dog, up into thousands on a dog, and
Yeah,
I've seen you really can't put a dollar value. I mean, some people will pay a high value to get a top pick because that gives them the option to select over another dog, but there's no guarantee just because they picked ahead of the other people that dog is the dog from that litter, like the hitter as people call it.
yep,
I mean, you honestly, you just never know. It's hard. Some dogs are standouts in litters, and some litters are so consistent where everybody looks the same, and everybody, if they're making picks at 6 weeks, no dog is really outshining the other. Some people will go for, oh, I want the biggest dog, or some people, I want the smallest dog. You know,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
depends
And
on
at that point, at 6 weeks, what do you look for?
me
So if
personally.
the dogs aren't on your yard, what do you look for when you walk in the room at six
If I
weeks?
Okay, I look at a dog. I want to see all the puppies running around. Whatever choices are available for me. I want to see them running around. I want to see how they interact with the other dogs. I want to see how they interact when there's food around and stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah,
also looking at them, from a show quality standpoint. How their back hips are, in succession when they're running, stuff like
yeah,
that. How their front paws are looking. Make sure they don't have weak pasterns, even though they're
yeah,
not going to be so developed because they're pups. But those are certain things that I look at. I look at a dog's top line. I look at the bite. I look at the teeth. When the dog is running, I try to see if you can see the dog gaining in some way.
yeah,
I mean, there are an array of things. I'll check the dog's skull to see if the skull cap is wider than normal.
okay,
You're not gonna be able to tell much, but it's just certain things you learn over the years that what you're looking for, that will make you successful in picking a pup.
yeah. So I noticed like you don't. There's a lot of chasing color going on now, uh, and it's color over structure in a lot of cases.
Mm.
Um, but looking at your dogs, I don't see that.
Yeah, no, I don't chase. I like the color, and but I rather a well structured dog over some color. I just happen to have the color on well structured dogs. From the foundation dogs that you know I was given and raised up. To start adding these dogs to my program. Like Future and Titan, Trinity and Cleo, and I got Sasha Fierce. And all of these dogs. They have what I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah. What about Kane?
Oh man, Kane was awesome, man. I mean, the dog, he was a great dog. I mean, not for nothing, the blue tribe wasn't a popular color, like the lilac tribe, but Kane made it. Kane, I think he kind of brought it back to be cool, to be blue again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, the dog, he really spoke for himself. I mean, he was magnificent. I mean, the dog, I got him at 9.5 months, and then I saw the potential in the dog, and Kane was the third pick from Bossy Kennels, so Kane, yeah, Kane wasn't, out there at 9.5 months. He was promising, and I saw potential, and when I took him onto my program, I knew where I could get him. I mean, and he did great things.
yeah. And he produced great things.
Yeah, I mean, he's produced a lot. I mean, we've done a lot with a lot of good programs out there. You know, got a lot
Yeah,
of
so
Lot of Kane males out there, a lot of Kane females. I mean, I've done some good things with Brian from Hyperactive Bullies. I mean, Mike from One Blood Bullies. I mean, we got some, Jacob from West Texas High Life Bullies. We've done a lot of great things with a lot of good kennels out there.
yeah, for sure. So, question for you: do you feel like using him so much it watered him down as far as I mean, not as far as his legacy, but do you feel like when you stud a dog so much and he has so many productions, do you feel like that waters him down?
I mean, I look at it in two ways. Okay, if a dog is, if a dog is wanted and he's in demand by the public, you can stud him out. You raise his stud fee. People are still going to use him. I mean, so you really can't avoid him. And I've done that to try to make him exclusive,
Yeah.
but that won't stop the public because the public will still want to use him no matter what you set him at. If they're looking, if for one they're seeing what he's producing great dogs, they're going to use him no matter what because everybody's looking for the next Kane or the next Future or the next Good Bar or the next Jumanji.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you set his stud fee at?
Man,
Um,
when I first got Kane, man, I started Kane out. I think Kane was like 35, and then he started growing, and then he went to 5, and then he went to he went up to 10,000, and he went up to 15. You know,
yeah.
and I let him sit there,
Yeah.
but I
So
mean,
and people pay for it. People are gonna pay for quality. And I think a
yeah,
lot of people that pay for the quality, I think some people that pay for the quality, they don't really know exactly what they're getting. So you didn't do like approved because I see some guys do like their stud fee, but it's only to approved females and
okay.
stuff like that.
A lot of people do that, but the thing when I first got Kane is, what the first question people are gonna ask you, where's his productions? Okay, so if I don't start dropping litters with Kane, then he won't be out there and he won't become popular. You understand?
Yep.
That's what they want to know. Where's his production? So okay, so if I underproduce him, then they still won't see what he has, and he won't, he wouldn't thrive and become who he was. I mean, he produced great dogs.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
makes
he got,
sense.
so I mean, I didn't just stud him out all over the world. I didn't just slut my boy out, but I mean, you know, he was studded out by plenty. He was studded out plenty. He's got a few hundred offspring, and I mean, you know, I'm happy with what he done for the bully world. I mean, the dog went from a regular, pretty much a pet to a household name right now.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing that I noticed, like all of your pictures are like high quality. So nothing on your page looks bad. Like everything looks like, a photographer took your pictures.
I mean, honestly, your program, you got to live and die by your program. I mean, you have to take quality pictures. I mean, if you're just posting cell phone pictures,
Yeah,
you can possibly kill the look of your dog with one bad picture.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know, when I get out there and I take those pictures, and I take all my pictures. I started off with a Canon, and I moved up to a Sony A9, which is what I shoot with now.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't change or alter the look of the dog. I mean, those dogs are quality dogs. I'm just, capturing what I think the public wants to see of them, in that essence.
yeah. And
I mean,
I think that goes back into investing in your program. Um,
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, you have to, I mean,
yeah,
you go to one.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good. I was just saying the cameras aren't cheap. So
Oh yeah,
people,
no, definitely,
yeah,
definitely. But
yeah. So
it's all about investing in your program. I mean, just like if you're starting off, you have a litter of pups, you sell that litter, you keep that money, and you go and get you a better female, for what you're trying to do to your program. And then every dog is a stepping stone, to what you're trying to do and add. Every dog will become intricate in your program, over time.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So do you feel like when you started breeding, how did you do with your litters? Did you keep the first pick from each litter, or was it just
Um,
like, oh, I'm gonna sell and I'm gonna go buy something else?
Well, at first I started off that way because I had quality, but it wasn't 100% what I was looking for. I mean, you're never gonna go out there and just get your best dog. I mean, my boy Zeus. I got Zeus from a breeder in the Bronx, and I loved him. And Zeus turned out to be awesome. He's a Comet grandson. He's a Gray line and Gotti line, bloodline and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
the dog is awesome, and he's produced some great dogs for me. And I'm just like. Every dog is a stepping stone to what you're trying to do in your program.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure you passed on some dogs that you were like, I had a shot to get them. What what
Yeah,
what
yeah,
what dog
definitely.
would you say is the one you like? Damn, I missed that one.
Oh man, I mean, there's a couple of them, man. I got a few dogs in the UK with Costa Nostra Windsor. He's got a cane daughter. Her name is Venom. I mean, that girl is awesome. You know, shit. I would love to have that girl back. You know, but sometimes you want to let great productions go out there so the public and the people can see what the dogs are doing. You know,
Yeah,
if I kept everything that that appeared to be good, then what would the public have? You know.
yeah, that's very true. So so do you feel like you put out any bad litters? Um, going through the growing pains. Um,
Mhm. Um, I've done litters that they're not as favorable as others.
okay.
I won't notate which litters those are, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you don't
dogs
keep
I've
it.
used and stuff like that. But I've gotten less than some favorable results. On breedings,
Yeah,
which happens to everybody. You just never know.
yeah. So
You know, you just
what about like health testing and stuff like that?
the health testing we're big on. We do the embark and stuff like that. Make sure all of the dogs are clear of any genetic diseases and stuff like that. But a lot of the dogs, I know Bossy's done that to a lot of their dogs, so we do it to our dogs. And we encourage our customers to do that with their dogs as well.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you say is the biggest part of the health testing for you? Because some people care about the hips, of course the heart, but I think the hips are heavy on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah, the hips and elbows are heavy. I mean, but honestly, man, you could have a dog that can pass, his OFA on hips and elbows, and still produce something that can produce something bad with hips and elbows.
Yeah,
It just, it just happens, especially with the XLs. These dogs grow at such a rapid rate.
yeah,
And the bones and stuff and cartilage don't fuse fast enough at the rate that the dog is growing. You get, dogs with blown out elbows. I mean, hip dysplasia. I mean, it's,
ACLs.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, it's tough. But if you're doing your research and you're dealing with, you're dealing with the right people, with the right kennels, and who are breeding and health testing the dogs, you kind of eliminate all of that. Eliminate, that somewhat, you know,
yeah.
as
And how do
opposed
you
to just go.
go ahead?
No, I'm saying as opposed to just going to somebody who doesn't do that stuff, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, for sure. And what about line breeding? Because I know that's big on a lot of yards. Um, they like
It
to
is.
keep that
It
keep
is.
in the house.
I mean, it is, but a lot of these dogs are line bred so much already, and if people really aren't studying and doing their homework on these pedigrees, they're just you're just running the dogs into each other and not producing desirable results. You know.
Yeah. So you can over line breed.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And sometimes I see some people post and no names and stuff, but
Yeah.
oh, five times this and five times this dog and six times this dog in the pedigree, and it's like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want to bring in, you want to outcross somewhere. You got the same dog in the pedigree five or six times, and then those dogs that are probably down on the mother's side have the same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So that raise the health risk?
Yeah, absolutely, because you're just reproducing the stuff that that has ran through those generations and possibly can start coming out in litters and stuff.
Yeah. So if you
But
were if you were to line breed, how do you do it?
if I was gonna line breed, I would do say okay, say I was gonna do a brother and sister. I
Mm.
would say if they had the same sire, which is fine, I would just prefer up different mothers.
Yeah.
If I were gonna do that.
Yeah. And why would you prefer different mothers?
I just prefer. I mean, it's gonna be the same either way. I just think the mother adds a little bit more to the dogs than what the male does.
Okay.
So I think adding a different moms and a same sire would doesn't create as much problems as. But like I said, it depends.
Yeah.
these problems can arise. However, they're just there in the genetics and DNA of these dogs.
Yeah. So genetically, I've heard people say that the mother carries. I've heard 80%, but I don't really know if that's true or not. Like that seems kind of heavy.
I would say, I mean, I've heard people say 80, I've heard people say 60 or 50-50. I think the mom has a little bit more bearing on the litter than the father,
Yeah.
but who's to say? I mean, sometimes you get desirable traits from both of the dogs. Sometimes you'll get dogs that look like the mother and father. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
just happens. You can't really predict. It's like people come to me, hit me up, say, "Oh man, I see you breed. You're champing out all these dogs and you're breeding this. Can you guarantee me? I want to buy a first pick. Can you guarantee me a champion show dog?" I tell them no, because you never know what these dogs are going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
So I would never tell somebody, yeah, I can guarantee you this with this dog, and it doesn't turn out to be that, and then I look like a fool in the end.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to
But
understand.
you can't guarantee it anyway because they gotta be willing to put in the work.
Yeah,
The dog
exactly.
with you.
If somebody else owned Kane, they probably wouldn't have got him to the level I got him to, or what Future is doing and stuff like that. I put a lot of work into these dogs.
Yeah. Like you said, it's hours of training, days. Like it's hard work, and a lot of people when they get into it, they don't understand that you got to get up at 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning,
Oh man.
and start your day. While everybody else is sleeping.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, if you're out there doing it yourself, and I mean, if you got a good supporting cast, that's great also. I mean, but you're out there, picking up piss and shit, 4 or 5 in the morning before you got to go to work and stuff like that. And it's just the life of a dog man. Real dog men understand that it's a daily routine. There's nothing fun about it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So what would you so when you go outside of your camp, what do you look for in the people that you deal with?
Honestly, man, I haven't gone outside of the camp to too many people other than Bossy. To do
Okay.
work with them, do stuff like that because Cat is awesome to work with. Like I said, I work with Brian from Hyperactive. I mean, I just like people, who are loyal, about the business, not into the drama and stuff like that. You know, just out there producing good dogs and have visions that are similar to what I have.
Yeah, for sure. So looking at your dog, and this is Kane's daughter Trinity, and this
Yes,
is
sir.
you said she's about to be a champion soon.
Yeah, she's on her way. She's halfway. She's halfway done, and we have a show coming up soon. And she'll be in a ring. We'll try to finish her off.
Yeah, so good feet. So do you feel like as far as the crops, you always do show crops on your
Um,
dogs?
yeah, pretty much. Trinity's crop is a little different because somebody else was going to purchase her, but they backed out of it,
Okay.
which I'm happy. you
Yeah.
know, I'm happy. So, but I preferred between short and show. The crop I like it nice and clean. Like when you go in there for a male, I like it to be a little bit longer. On a male, you want him to have a nice bully pronounced head. Like if you look at Kane's, Kane's ears were already cut when I got him. But if you look at Future's ears, his ears are nice and long, but his head complements it. He's got the grapefruits in the cheeks. He's got a pronounced, he's got a great, stop and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what the bully head should look like.
So Kane, this is Kane for
Yeah,
everybody that doesn't know.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. That's the champ.
yeah. So Florida State Bullies. What made you name your kennel Florida State Bullies?
Oh man, like I said, well, actually, man, I'm from New York. Been out in Florida, I'll say maybe 8 years, about 7, 8 years now. And I was gonna partner up with somebody, that I met, out in Florida. He was doing his thing in the dog game, but just wasn't, he wasn't doing it on a consistent level. And we talked about the name and stuff like that. So I just said, you know what, if I'm gonna be a representative and I wanna, produce these XLs, I need to take on something that's gonna be strong. I can't
Yeah.
just I see a lot of people pick these names and these names aren't, long lasting.
Yeah.
You want something that's going to be respectable. So, Florida State Bullies, it's, some people, oh, okay, you know, got websites. You come look at the dogs. You know, we'll show anybody the dogs. I mean, that's why we go to the shows. You know, we ain't afraid to show our dogs. A lot of people are afraid to show their dogs because a lot of the dogs that they have on Instagram and Facebook or wherever they post them don't look like that in person.
Yeah, it's a lot of photoshopping and
Yeah,
editing that goes into the pictures.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, it's not good. It's not a good look for the bully game as a whole when they do that, because now it's like if you don't have video evidence, or everybody wants the heaviest dog, you know, like,
yeah.
oh, my dog's 180 pounds and he's sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
just it's not a good look in
Yeah.
my eyes. In most people's eyes, I think that love the breed. Um, it's not a good look. And
No, not at all, man. Not at all. I've never been concerned with having the biggest dog. I don't want the biggest dog. Never. Y'all can have that. I want something that's structurally sound. I want something that looks, that looks appealing. I want something that's aesthetically, appealing to the eye. The dog looks sexy. You want a female with a, nice rear, great top line. I mean, a lot of people don't look at this stuff on dogs. They just, oh, I just want to slap two dogs together and make it star. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So when you say a nice rear, what do you mean for the people that don't understand?
Oh man, rear muscle development is something, it's a must on a dog. If a dog doesn't have rear muscle development, I mean the dog is weak from behind.
Yeah.
A lot of the dogs that I have in my programs, I've been blessed that they have strong rears. Like Trinity has an awesome rear. Her sister Cleo, who's back in the program, and she's almost a champion as well. Cleo has an awesome rear. Future has an awesome rear. Titan has a good rear. So it's vital to have dogs that have that and that can produce that.
Yeah. So Beth says she's looking you up on Facebook. You're very impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of people that don't understand the work that goes into it and what you got to do. So how many dogs do you have on your yard right now?
Oh man, I got 12 dogs right now, and I got two litters on the ground. So I would say with the pups, I say about 20, 23.
All right. So you got to feed 23 dogs. You got to whelp litters.
Yeah.
How many do you start stacking before they leave, or you just wait until you got your pick and then you kind of go from that?
As far as what? What do you mean stacking?
Like as far as like when your pups leave, like what kind of training do you send them home with? Like as far as like are they kind of crate trained?
I mean, at 8 weeks, it's kind of tough to train a pup. To
Yeah,
train pups in a whole litter. I mean, you can try and do as much as you can, but at 8 weeks, it's kind of hard. Because you got a litter of 10.
yeah,
You can give each pup, a certain amount of time. The puppies, we introduce them to humans, and I got kids and stuff like that, so they play with
yeah,
the kids and stuff. So they get human interaction 100% before they leave.
yeah, and
You
that's
know, they were
needed.
yeah, they're with the mom. They see other dogs and stuff like that. If we got pups that they're if that are their age, we'll let them interact and stuff like that. But then they go to the vet. They're exposed to people and stuff like that. So they do have some type of guardianship, per se. When they leave.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Then
So as far as like in your camp, how many people do you have helping you, or is it just like family owned?
no, this is a family owned thing right now. This is something I built with my family and stuff like that. And you know, the program is either gonna make or break on decisions that I make, for the program.
Yeah, and
I've had
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I've had opportunities to bring people on board and stuff like that, but just at this stage right now, I'm just kind of, I've been in the game for a few years, but I'm still, growing every day. Still I still don't think I have my best dog in my program. So that makes me want to work harder to create, bigger and better things as opposed to what I have now.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're ever gonna have your best dog? I feel like that's one of the things where you can't, like, if you ever feel like you get your best dog, it's probably time for you to get out the game. Like, as
Yeah,
far as breeding goes.
yeah,
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
not.
Because at that point you're complacent. Like,
Absolutely.
this is the best dog I'm gonna have ever.
Mhm.
So if you if you
Absolutely.
if you feel like you can't produce something better, then you
Yep.
got to get out the way for the next guy.
Mhm. I'm always looking at dogs and what's going to be a potential hitter or something like that. I do a lot of research. I don't network. I mean, I network with a lot of people, but you know, I network with who I need to. Who's important. If I got questions, I'll ask. I'll call. What you think about this dog? Go back and forth with different studs or upcoming studs and stuff like that. Listen, there's always another upcoming stud just months away.
Yeah,
A good stud will have maybe a good 2, 3 year run in the game before somebody else comes and overtakes him.
yeah, yeah. So
You know.
do you think judges get tired of seeing the same dogs win?
I mean, well, it all depends. I mean, because once a dog, say a dog champs out in one show, the judges probably won't see him much more often because he doesn't have to go compete
Yeah.
again if he's not going for grand champion.
Okay.
I knew after we champed out Kane, I kind of knew that we weren't gonna take him for grand champion because it would have been harder for Kane the grand champ because of the style of dog he was. He was huge. He was massive.
Yeah.
Um, but he was the longer version of the XL,
Yeah.
and the judges prefer the smaller
So
short back. So that we thought about it and we pondered about it. I mean, and then just unfortunate things happen. But now with Future, he's kind of more of what they would be looking for. So that's why we're gonna go for the grand champion run hard.
yeah. And you think he got a good shot? I think he got a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he
Nah.
looks
He's
good, man. Like, he
Nah,
looks
he's he's
good.
he's 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 put together nice, man. I'm happy with the production. I'm very happy with what I produced. I
Yeah.
think he has a chance. We're humble whether we do it or whether we get it or not. But I think he has a good chance. His handler thinks he has a good chance, and we're gonna go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, I don't see anything not to like.
Yeah, I mean he's tough. I mean he's hard to beat. I mean you got to have a good dog to go against him. And the dog is he's going on 18 months. I mean the dog is so young, to achieve that already. And when he hits 2 years or even two and a half, I kind of have an idea what he's gonna look like when he's finished growing and stuff, which is
Yeah.
is gonna be super impressive. So and just like him, now that he's a champion, that one question that they're gonna ask about Future is where's his productions.
Yeah.
It's a cycle all over and over. The same thing with Kane. Where's his productions now?
Yeah.
So the same thing. A lot of people, Future's picking up steam out there. A lot of people are studying him out, and he's got a few litters on the ground right now. And the pups look promising. But you just don't know yet.
Yeah. You don't know. So when would you say what a pup is gonna be? Like, what age?
It's tough, man. I've had dogs look like crap for the first 6, 8 months, and then turn it on when they hit a year.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Future. I thought about selling him when he was younger. Okay, he was, yeah, exactly. I'm exactly. I thought about it. I pondered about it. I was always on the fence with him. When these dogs are young, you know, they don't look like that. And him and his brother Titan were going neck and neck. Titan was just bigger. Titan was the biggest male out the litter, and he just happened to be the biggest now. And then Future started growing, and passed him up in one stage, and then I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I was a little wary about certain things on him, and then all of a sudden, the bone development just came in. I mean, the head just exploded, the rear exploded. I mean, and I'm just looking at this dog like, I got something here.
Yeah. So you
Man.
would have been kicking yourself in the ass if you had sold him.
Oh man, big, I'd have been sick right now, man. I'd have been sick right now, man. But I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, at this point he might not be a champion either.
Yeah, I mean, somebody else might have them, and can't promote them, and market, and get the dog out there like I do. So and that'll either make or break a dog. If nobody sees him, he's not going to be known.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Um, so with your marketing, when you put Future out to the public, how did you go about opening him up?
It was just, he kind of, his the way he looked and his pedigree was, kind of intriguing to people. I mean, the champion, he's off of Champion Kane, he's off of Champion Vixen. Those dogs, they come from awesome pedigrees. Those, Bossy kennel bred dogs and stuff like that. So I mean, you got pedigree chasers that'll chase that, and then, to look at the dog, some people. So okay, this is Kane's son. He looks like this. Let me take a chance with him, and they'll drop a deposit on the stud fee when he's a year pup, and now he looks like how he looks now, and it just takes off that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's not bad, man. Yeah, I see quality, man. That's all I see on your page. I see champions, and I feel like the name of the episode kind of speaks to your camp. It speaks to you, and where you came from, and where you hit it. you know. So we're talking about champions. That's the name of the episode.
Yeah.
I felt like it was fitting.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know.
nah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the dogs speak for themselves, man. Like I said, I'll show up to any ring, go against anybody in the XL world. I mean, just make sure you have some quality, because I'm gonna bring quality. I'm not gonna bring something that's gonna make me look bad. So, and I'm trying to consistently produce that, and build relationships and network with people. I mean, I got a great fan base in the UK, great fan base in Germany. I mean, France and stuff like that. I communicate with a lot of people. You know,
For
you know,
sure.
we're doing some good things out there.
Yeah, for sure. So we looking here. We got Florida State Bullies, 37,000 followers. How did you get there?
Man, let me tell you something. I started off with one dog to where I'm at now. I've been on Instagram maybe 8, 9 years. I've grinded every single day to get where I'm at now. For every follower, for every like and stuff like that, I appreciate everybody. We don't take nothing for granted over here.
Yeah, man.
It's a struggle. We could have jumped in the game and went and go bought a bunch of fake followers and that are not organic like a lot of other kennels have. But I rather grind for mine. I come from New York. I'm from the Bronx. I grinded my whole life, and I've continued to do it now with the dogs.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Well, that's about it for our show. Do you got anything you want to say to the good people that are watching?
Nah, I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
For let me speak about the dogs and stuff like that. Just to bring awareness to the bully community. It's not as united as I would like it, but I mean, you can't. You ain't gonna make everybody happy.
yeah, man. Hey, man, we working on it, man. I'm gonna keep,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna keep the ball rolling. Hopefully, once this COVID thing comes out, settles down, I'm gonna try to take the show on the road
Okay.
and do some visits that way, and hit some shows, and you know,
Yeah,
and,
that'll be
and
good, man.
kind of go
However,
live and make it pop that way.
however we can help you in your journey, we will. Whatever
Sure.
you need from us, and we'll talk behind the scenes and stuff like that, and get you some
Yeah,
Florida State Bullies merchandise and stuff, so you can have, just to
absolutely.
represent what we're doing, cross promoting and stuff like that. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate you. I know you're on the road right now, so safe travels. And much success coming in the future, as I can see, and I'm
Oh
sure.
man, stay tuned, brother. We got some things coming soon.
Yeah, man. So
Stay
I
tuned.
appreciate you. Nothing but dogs cast. Mike with Florida State Bullies. We talking about champions. Episode 6 closing.